So let's get to the rumors and innuendos, and then we'll get to what did Jim Cornette say. Speaking of Jim Cornette,
Jim Ross didn't say nothing this week about Rollins.
NWA issued a statement concerning Jim Cornette
Mm.
telling people to kill themselves. I don't know if you saw this earlier this week, but Jim Cornette went off again on Twitter.
He
Uh,
didn't say kill himself. They misquoted Jim Cornette. He didn't say for him to do it by himself.
he
That's what he said
said
on the
someone to
show.
kill someone to do it for him.
Yeah, he didn't say kill himself because he even said on the podcast, "I never said kill himself. I said have someone help him do it."
No, that's what.
I was busting up
That's
laughing.
still
When I heard
horrible. That is still horrible.
Jim Cornette is the Howard Stern of podcasting right now.
I only cared if the lantern was going to be there or not, and it was.
It was. I know.
It
I
was.
can't believe that. Hey, that's what got him stopped.
Look at these kayfabe news from Ted. Yeah, I don't like.
I love
that at all.
kayfabe news.
They need to lose the red light for the Fiend, but very shocked at the severed head lantern in Saudi. Yeah, that was gutsy call there, WWE. There. Now, the NWA finally came out with a statement regarding what Jim Cornette had to say. Vice President David Lagana issued the following: over the last few days, a situation was brought to our attention in regard to comments made by Jim Cornette that have been taken as making light on the subject of suicide. We've addressed the situation internally with Mr. Cornette and made it clear that any comments in regards to this subject, joking or serious, are not endorsed by Lighting One and the NWA. Mr. Cornette understands the seriousness of the situation, and with that, he will remain the color commentary for NWA Power. So he's not going anywhere. Mental health and suicide prevention are very important to NWA President Billy Corgan and myself. If you ever needing help or need to speak with someone, he's promoting the national prevention of suicide. That's just
Jim Cornette's the best part of the NWA Power right now, especially the commentary. I mean, it's just funny.
kind of Gainic. Kind of Gainic. Yeah, it is in his kayfabe news like the Onion. Yeah, they don't. All what they report is all
funny
silly
though.
Shit. It's all funny, silly shit. But yeah, Jim Cornette does need to tone it down a little bit because he did it. Let's go to the segment of what did Jim Cornette say today. All right, so Jim Cornette came out on Twitter saying, well, the best TV wrestling show of at least this month goes to WWE on Fox SmackDown. Match of the month to Adam Cole versus Daniel Bryan. Great promo by Happy Heyman. Baszler is great. That's how you get new talent over. They beat stars. Outlaw Mud Shows take note. Well, someone commented
AEW.
Someone commented and saying, agree with you, other than the last sentence, he put less sentence. Private Party have wins over Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers. I think they get the idea of new talent getting over by beating stars. Jim Cornette said, I said stars. Well, there you go. That's what Jim Cornette had to say this week.
Anymore?
Over on Twitter. No, that's the only one I got from his Twitter. I thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny. Oh, did you see the fucking... Yeah, I had the Joey Mercury stuff.
I mean, we could do a whole 2-hour show just reading Cornette's tweets.
Now, Joey Mercury recently went on a fucking tear on Twitter. In an update on Joey Mercury being let go from ROH, there are reports that he was removed from his position as a producer and maybe things weren't as amicable, there you go, can I speak, as first thought. World champion Kelly Klein has released a statement on Twitter concerning the situation. In addition, her husband BJ Whitmer, now with AEW, has also posted that anything Joey Mercury has posted about Greg Gilliland is 100% true. I
love trying to get AEW too.
We had someone, Joey in Retrograde, that's his Twitter account, who wanted to do that and tried to do that. I love Ring of Honor, and I want to make it better. I want us to be allowed to make it better. BJ Whitmer also said, from someone that actually worked in the opposite with Greg, everything Joey is saying is 100% true. I don't have what Joey had to say. Oh, here we go. Check out his, let's see, what is Twitter? Let me put on his Twitter here. Let me hear. So, wonder why I say bon voyage. Ask PW Insider or stay tuned here to my real question voice, as it appears there's failure to communicate. I'll just truth you through Twitter tomorrow real loud, you mark. The drastically, like all WOH, underpaid and overworked, was right about Twitter. It's useful and effective. I'm goddamn 40 years old, millennial, for fuck's sake. Jim Cornette, what happened? Help me, Jimmy. He doesn't. What is this all about? Let me see. Let me see here. Trying to get all of it. Did it ever occur to you to upper management that a WO manager who has stayed and knows ethics might be a good look? I myself am out of work, so nobody seems to be disputing anything I'm typing. Everything has been said before. Yeah. If you want to see what he went off on Twitter. I don't know exactly which ones to read, but he went he went crazy on Twitter about ROH, pretty much burying the company. Kelly is said to be the only paid $24,000. Whoa! Talked about Jay Lethal's injury. That much. Like, dude, this motherfucker went off on ROH. Isn't the first person to, and don't be the last. What is up with ROH, man? Like, it seemed to be. Remember what 5 years ago? Money. 5 years ago, ROH was on the urge of being one of the top companies in wrestling.
Yeah, then the Elite left.
It was competing with WWE. People were like, "Oh, fuck WWE, go watch ROH." ROH this, ROH that, and then they just kind of fucked things up all of a sudden to where people are complaining about ROH, talking about how ROH is this and that. We're not getting very much positive remarks about ROH. I don't really watch ROH much to be able to comment on the whole situation. I've just been reading what happened on Twitter.
Well, it doesn't matter if you're watching it because that's behind the scenes stuff.
What are your thoughts about ROH and how far it's fallen off the map?
I mean, ever since, you said 5 years ago, that's about right, because there was no All Elite Wrestling 5 years ago. So, I mean, that's where half the freaking roster came from. The Elite just freaking left. And that Cody, Omega, Paige, SCU, I mean, they lost everybody. And they all went to AEW. And, like, without Cody and the Bucks and Kenny, I mean, they have nothing. Look, they still have put on a good show, I get that. But it's like they lost all the buzz, because the buzz went from ROH and New Japan to AEW. And now even Impact is getting a bigger buzz than them right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Ever since MSG,
and MLW is kind of turning into the new ROH right now.
Buy a Young Bucks
because they're out there putting on some great matches and doing some great stuff over on MLW.
Thanks, Gaticus.
Plus, they still use those AEW stars too, so that kind of helps them out too. Like MJF is wrestling tonight too.
Speaking of AEW, Dave, nice little segue to what we have talking about. For? All Elite Wrestling. We had Seth Rollins on After the Bell with Corey Graves. If you don't know what After the Bell is, it's the recent new podcast that WWE has came out with. It's on iTunes. Corey Graves had Triple H on the show, Ric Flair, Bayley, and Seth Rollins. Well, Seth Rollins was on the show.
Flair. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
And he talked about AEW, talked about Kenny Omega, talked about Will Ospreay. But I have the comment that he talked about regarding Mr. Kenny Omega. So let's hear it, and let's get your guys' thoughts here.
You continue to do so. I think it was in...
Oh, crap!
What?
I hit the wrong button. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. There you go.
It's controversy, which you continue to do so. I think it was in Houston a few weeks ago. There's a video all over the internet. And I'm going to say some of the no-no words here in WWE. Kenny Omega, the ace of the newest company here in the States, AEW. Obviously, he's no stranger to a lot of the guys that work here. I don't know him personally, never met him, but I know what he's about, know what he's done. And I guess there was a little bit of an exchange with you guys. I believe you're referring to them as the minor leagues.
So that was fun. You know, we do these con-type events. We do Q&A sessions. And so I had somebody ask me about a potential matchup between Kenny Omega and myself. And look, Kenny and I worked together at Ring of Honor 9-10 years ago, whatever it was, maybe a little longer even. And we worked with each other and had some really good matches, and I had a great rapport with Kenny. I actually considered him a pretty good friend and stuff. And so, you know, he told me about his time at developmental because he was signed to WWE in Deep South for a little while. You know, he ended up getting sick of it and quitting and stuff like that, and went on to have great success in his own right. But yeah, we were buds, and so again, no ill will towards Kenny Omega, and I've seen Kenny's stuff since then, and he's an incredible performer. But again, if I just sit there and say, "Oh, Kenny Omega, what a talent! I would love to wrestle him someday." Wow, that doesn't make a headline, man. That's boring. Then JR's got nothing to talk about. So, you know, it's just God, just let us hate each other. You know, look, Kenny's great. Kenny's never proven himself in the WWE, so that's what I was saying. You know, it is what it is. WWE is the top of the mountain. I'm the guy sitting at the top of the mountain, and so if Kenny wants to come and you know, like I said, play in the major leagues or get out of the minor leagues or whatever, then that's fine. The bottom line is, I'd love Kenny to come to me because I'm not going to him anytime soon.
Love it.
Okay, so my question for you, Dave, is this. He makes a good point. You know, he says, you know, what do you want me to say? You want me to kiss his ass? Is that what you want me to do? He finds them as competition. So he's not going to say, you know, a bunch of positive things about Kenny Omega. But here's my thing to you. Is this a work, bro? Is this a work, bro, between Seth Rollins
friends.
and Kenny Omega?
Friends. Yeah. You know what the best part of that whole interview was? If I say all nice things about Kenny Omega, JR has nothing to talk about. That was the best part of the whole thing. And I didn't hear it the first time around, so I just heard it that time. But yeah, okay, and it's fun, and he makes a great point. Like, why not just try to nudge the fans to like, oh, what did he say about AEW, and get them all fired up and angry? And guess what? Those same fans, guess what they did? They listened to this podcast. I guarantee it. What is Seth going to say about Kenny this time?
I guarantee it. That it's a smart move by both Omega and Rollins for them to kind of bicker back and forth at each other. This used to happen back in the old days. You know, people taking shots at each other. This is the stuff I don't mind. Wrestlers going at each other. What I don't like is when AEW references WWE a lot. They've toned it down quite a bit. And I'm not talking about the elite stuff on the YouTube. That's a different thing. I don't really relate that to the AEW TV show. But when they take their little subtle little jabs at WWE, that's the stuff that gets like the rolling of the eyes type of thing, where Punk was talking about. I kind of agree with him on that. This is the stuff I like. You know, when he called in the AEW the minor leagues, technically they aren't the minor leagues, but we know where he's going at. But I feel like this is all a work. I don't feel like there's real hatred between the two.
No. I don't think there's real hatred anywhere in wrestling, honestly.
I don't know. Some people may not like each other. That's
yeah, but they're still going to work together. I mean, there's no real hatred, I don't think. But let me go off script and pull an unscripted line on Tony that isn't planned on the show at all. And ask you and everyone else something. Sorry, guys, I'm going off script. Sorry, but here I go. What did you think of After the Bell?
I haven't really listened to all of it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was gonna listen to it today, but I haven't. But I just listened to mostly what the Rollins stuff said. I've heard most positive reviews, other than the interview with Rollins being shitty.
Yeah, it was sounded bad. Yeah, because the sound quality.
Other than that, I heard most of the people actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good show, and I don't know when they're going to do another one, but it's kind of interesting.
Mr. AEW's gift. I think it's every week they're gonna have a.
Oh no, he said he didn't know when there was going to be another episode. So it's like
we all hate Brandy Rhodes.
But yeah, I like the fact. I agree, Bob Rusi, because he did say Graves to open up the show. This is gonna be whatever. I'm not censored. He said he wouldn't do this if he was censored. He wasn't gonna.
I like how he's able to mention Omega, AEW, Will Ospreay, New Japan, ROH. I like that they're able to do that. I wonder how far they go. Does he talk about an AEW show? Does he talk about other wrestlers on the show? That's what I want to know. Do we start seeing more wrestlers taking shots at each other?
Yeah. I don't like the fact of this show. It has like 4 or 5 gaps. Maybe it's just for one show because it was the first show. Maybe
I think it was because of the first show. They wanted to come out with a bang.
I want to see it be done like an actual podcast because we listen to hear the wrestlers get personal on these podcasts and talk get real. And I want to see like a 20, 30-minute interview where he's just breaking down talking to one person. And that's what I want to see. And one thing I hate about this podcast now, everyone has, just like the Jon Moxley crap, everyone has to put quotes and clips on Twitter. So if you don't want to get spoiled by it, you got to jump off Twitter and go listen to the damn podcast. Everyone has to post spoilers about it. That's one thing I hate about it.
These two laughing behind the scenes at fans, says Bob Ruski. Rollins is good, but Omega is much more fun to watch, and I think a bit more talented, says Chris Mack.
I think they're... I might get heat for saying this. I think they wrestle kind of the same, don't you? Like their style is very similar.
Their style is similar. I'll give you that.
Because the way they both do I know Rollins doesn't do a running knee trigger and all that, but they both do the flippity floppity move. They both have their big finish. I mean, they both think they're the best wrestlers in the world. Yeah. But I mean, they have the same kind of style. They have almost a similar look to each other and dressing-wise, except Rollins doesn't come out in a stupid-looking mask. But
for Halloween, Dave. Come on, you got to give him a pass for that.
It was still stupid. And come on, Cornette. I'm gonna say I listened to a podcast. He was, I don't know if it was on this show or another show this week, but there was the Street Fighter one where he was just so pissed when they did the little thing that they do, shoot the fire out of their arms, and the Lucha Brothers sell it. I think that was from Fight for the Fallen. But yeah, that was funny. He was pissed.
So yeah, you're gonna have to expect. Hopefully, we get more out of the shooting aspect on After the Bell. It was nice and refreshing there. Now we have one more rumor and innuendo to go with, and that's the original plan for Finn Balor. The company had plans for Balor to be a part of the SmackDown brand, according to everyone's favorite Dave Meltzer. When he lost to Bray Wyatt badly at SummerSlam, the idea was he'd go on his sabbatical and switch to SmackDown on his return. But then when the ratings ended up going the way they did, he was moved to NXT with the idea that his star power could make more of a difference there.
I agree.
When they're both intensely focused on a match, they're great, says Bob Ruski. I agree. Yeah. Both guys are great wrestlers. And if you like one over the other, I can't, kill you on that.
Because almost like cue the Spider-Man meme out there. It's almost like they're very similar with each other.
They are very similar type wrestlers. They have...
I mean, what happens when Seth curls his hair and goes completely blonde? People are going to be like, what the fuck are we watching? Is this Kenny?
So why not put him on Team NXT for Survivor Series? That's a good question. That's a very good question. Maybe he ends up there. Who knows? Maybe he couldn't make... I heard what I was reading online is that most of these NXT wrestlers made it to SmackDown barely. Like, they barely made it on SmackDown on time. They even said that Shayna showing up at the end of the Bayley match was cutting it close. So, props to them for being able to go in there and making it in time. And props to Adam Cole and Ciampa for being able to have a match. And you got to say Miz, too, and Daniel Bryan for being able to have a match on the fly like that and not being able to...
Well, Miz and Bryan were already going to be there, so...
Well, rehearse the match. Kind of go over the match with Ciampa and Adam Cole. But
they probably did it.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Props to them for not being able to, for just going out there and winging it for the most part.
Yeah, we don't see too much of that anymore, and they both did good. But maybe with that spot with Cole in the corner, maybe that's why they don't want to do stuff like that.
Oh,